And joining us on today's featured interview on Phoenix TV is Phoenix forward number 14, Sean Starke. Sean, welcome to Phoenix TV.
Thank you, nice to be here.
Sean, let's just have a brief run through your career and about how you came to Manchester, because when you were unveiled as a Phoenix signing during the summer, you were labelled as the surprise package, hopefully, for the Manchester Phoenix. What did you think when you saw that quote?
Well, because I'm a two-way type player where I can score a lot of goals one year, next year I can get a lot of assists. It all depends on the year, who I play with and everything. So I just wanted to come here and do my best and score as many goals as I can for the team, help the team win some games.
I think one of the things that impressed during the summer when we were looking at you and looking at your stats and everything was the fact that you are a very regular point scorer, and that's proven the case so far this season as well. 14 games played, 14 points scored, point-a-game record. It's pretty good going.
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty consistent player. I play the same way every game. I don't change my style over the last 10 years pretty much, and I'm pretty consistent. I play the same game. I'll show up every night to play, and hopefully I can keep going this year.
And when you came out of the United Hockey League, you said that United Hockey League had been a pretty physical league, and you were looking forward to continuing to play in a North American style of game, although in a different country. What are your first impressions in the first few weeks of the Elite League here in Britain?
Well, it's pretty similar. It's obviously hard to be physical all game because there's only pretty much two lines played most of the game, plus a third line. But it's very similar to back in the UHL. UHL guys are a little bigger, a couple more fights a game and all that and everything. But overall, it's been a great experience so far.
Looking back at your career now, Sean, obviously you had a fantastic career at college, didn't you? Where I understood you studied economics.
I did, economics degree, and I had there for 4 years. It's called Bowdoin College out in Maine in the U.S., and it was great. Loved it. How
come you went to Maine? Because originally you're from from the Montreal area of Quebec, aren't you?
Right. Well, I went to a prep school in Massachusetts, and my older brother was actually playing at the same college. He was a senior when I was a freshman. And I played football in college, well, American football in college as well. And so it was a good opportunity to play two sports in a college and play with my older brother for the first time ever, because he's a lot older than I am. And I thought it'd be a great experience, and it ended up working out great.
Funnily enough, you mentioned American football. It's a question we always like to ask players is, other than hockey, what other favourites have you got on the sporting calendar? And I guess now, obviously, it's American football.
American football is a favorite, but actually rugby, growing up, I played for 7-8 years growing up as a fly half for many, many years. I love rugby. But in the U.S., didn't have much rugby in the U.S. It was mostly American football. I played a little bit of baseball growing up, but I love rugby. I actually I haven't played since I was probably 18, so I miss it a lot.
So I guess in recent weeks you've been keeping your eye on TV a little bit while the Rugby World Cup's been played.
Absolutely. I've been watching every game if I could. Joe Tolera is my roommate, so he doesn't know much about rugby, but I've been teaching him the rules, and I think now he likes it also, and so it's been good.
And I suppose, obviously playing in Hull last night, you didn't get a chance to see the World Cup final between South Africa and England, but I guess you know the result now.
I heard England lost. I haven't seen any highlights or anything or any. I heard that one try that went through but didn't count as a big controversy, I guess. But I haven't seen the highlights yet. But I heard they lost. But it was a good run for them. Give it to them.
Exactly. But getting back to yourself now, obviously after college you began a little bit of travelling. You went to Germany and then you went down under to Australia. Tell us about Germany and your time in Oz.
Well, I had an opportunity to go to an NHL camp my first year, and then I had an offer to go to Germany through a friend of mine from college. I was like, yeah, why not? So I went there, played there for 5 months, then traveled for a month throughout Europe, just traveling with my roommate. And then I came home. My brother calls me, goes, come over to Australia and play with me in Australia. So 4 days later, back on the plane over to Australia, and I played there for the summer, and it was a great experience. I loved it.
So traveling the world doesn't faze you in the slightest?
No, it's great. I love doing it because, in a year or so, I have to start getting a real job and working and can't travel anywhere. So I want to do it all now while I still can, and then move on when I have to.
But then you went back to the United Hockey League with Kalamazoo and then Flint and then Roanoke. And Roanoke was only a short spell. Were you there at the time when they were going through some turmoil?
Yes, I was. Actually, I was in Flint for a while, and they wanted to trade for a defenseman, so there was some 3-player trade for me, so I ended up going to Roanoke for about a month. It was good because both teams were out of the playoffs, but Roanoke was better weather, so I went golfing every day, which was nice. And then, then the team folded after that year. Then I went to Quad City last year and played there, which was a great experience. And so, yeah, I've been to U-Haul for a bunch of years, and it was great. I loved it there, but it was time to move on, and I'm happy I'm in Manchester now.
Originally, as we said, you came from the Montreal area. Were you actually a Canadiens fan?
Huge Canadian fan. I still am. I hate when they lose. So I'm a diehard Canadian fan, and I hope they do well this year again, hopefully.
I guess, though, people are wondering if you're such a diehard Canadian fan, there's not much of a French accent there. Do you speak French?
I speak French fluently, actually, but back home it's half and half. It's half English, half French. My dad's from Toronto, my mom's from Montreal, but they're both English-Canadian. So I learned English growing up, and I learned French growing up as well, but I'm more of an English versus French-Canadian.
I guess that makes for interesting household debates over hockey. If your dad's from Toronto and your mum's from Montreal, do they ever get into it when the Maple Leafs play the Canadians?
I think my dad likes Montreal more. I think he grew up as a Toronto fan. He moved to Montreal when he was about 8 years old. So most of his hockey cheering was in Montreal. But I think he's more of a Montreal fan versus Toronto. But he still supports Toronto on the side. But he knows we all love Montreal, so he keeps it pretty quiet normally.
Obviously, being involved in hockey, you've been involved now for obviously a number of years. What are your hopes for the future from the game?
I don't know. I take it year by year, to be honest with you. You know, I've used hockey for great education in college, to travel, to play hockey throughout the world, overseas and in the U.S., and I'm using more of an experience versus anything else. I'm planning on actually moving on in a year or so to actually use my degree and actually get a job, and I still want to keep hockey close to me as much as possible, but it's hard to keep hockey with work, but I love the game, and I want to support it and be around it as much as possible, but I'm 28 this year, turning 28 pretty soon. I have time to move on almost soon, but I'm going to miss the game a lot.
I was going to say, you're a long time older than you are younger, Sean.
Yeah.
28 is an awful young age to be thinking about maybe hanging them up. Surely you're not thinking of that already.
It goes through my mind every now and again because it's I have a career I want to pursue after hockey as well, and there's only so many years you can wait before you want to pursue it. I can't play till I'm 40 like Tony Henn, and then hopefully get a job where I'm looking to pursue. He wants to coach and pursue hockey, and that's great for him. And my ideal situation is to actually push away from hockey eventually and go in the finance world and see where I go with that.
I was going to say, because having a degree in economics, exactly. Have you got a career path that you're kind of mapping out for yourselves already?
Kind of. I started writing my resume only this year, actually, because I'm just used to just playing hockey, just going home, working out, and that's about it. But I'm looking to possibly work back home in Toronto or in Boston or in New York and go towards a finance type company and just pursue and see what I learn and see where I want to go from there, and see what happens.
So we'll be getting some hot tips from the Sean Starke Business School.
Possibly.
Sean Starke, many thanks for joining us on Phoenix TV.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.